Right.
EAGLES.
Fuck yes. Thank God it is football season. I was so tired of having nothing to fucking watch besides wrestling and cartoons and superhero stuff and baseball and But anyway, we're at football season. Thank you. I'm
Yes.
so glad it's fucking football season. I'm so excited for this season.
Yeah, no kidding. Me
Mainly,
too, man. We did one of these last year. Now we won't go in as much detail as we did because we kind of really dove in game by game. We don't intend to do that here, but we'll
mm,
we'll still kind of run through some off season happenings. I know we did talk about that months ago. We talked about some of the draft and some other things that we've peppered in through different episodes. So no, this would be cool to kind of just go through and say, hey, we'll run through the schedule. Maybe not as much of a deep dive, but maybe kind of give a little bit of a preview to the season. And man, fingers crossed. I'm hoping this one turns out to be a good one because man, it's been a pretty damn exciting off season.
yeah. And so I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I want to put this out there. I'm going to say something very unpopular, and will probably anybody who is listening to this episode will probably stop after I make this comment too. And it's not necessarily Eagles related. It's only tangentially Eagles related. But I think Carson Wentz is going to have a comeback year this year.
That's a fair point.
I think he's surrounded with talent on that team. Not that he wasn't on the Colts roster, and you would think that he would have been set up more for success there than he was. But honestly, you look at his team that's around him this year. Last year he was what 27-7, I think, as far as interception touchdowns interceptions. Um, and I think if he repeats that and just can keep from the costly turnovers at certain times, I think that the Commanders can be a dangerous team.
Do you think
Um,
he hooks up with McLaurin a lot? Do you think that's going to be his?
oh yeah, I think McLaurin will be his go-to. Um, and then I forget who their tight end is. I think is Logan, right? Logan Thomas.
Yes, I do like him.
So
I think he's a solid receiver as far as that position goes. I don't know. Um,
J.D. McKissick coming out of the backfield as a receiving back.
right. That's what the one thing I was going to say. I don't know that the running game does a lot to open up the passing game for
But it'll be interesting.
the FKA football team.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I think he is on the line for another 30 touchdown season. Here's my thing with him, and I do not mean to wish ill will on anybody. I just wonder if he stays healthy enough to get to that point.
Honestly, I think he'll stay healthy physically. My question with him will always be going forward his mental health, because I think that's what hampers him more than anything is he gets in his own head and he starts imagining this person's against him or that person's against him, or he takes these imaginary slights and then it kind of snowballs. And I feel like he's his own worst enemy.
Right.
Now that said,
right, and I saw a great comment earlier this week, and I can't remember who said it, but it was one of the Eagles things that came through, and I can't disagree with this. And look, without him, we don't win the Super Bowl.
yeah,
And it's weird to say that because he didn't play in the Super Bowl, but without him, we would not have gotten there. I just don't see any. I can't imagine any season where Nick Foles would have taken us through the season and then through the playoffs and then won the Super Bowl. That was lightning in a bottle.
yeah.
That was the 2011 St. Louis Cardinals. I'll always use them as an example. Lightning in a bottle. Yeah, I mean, that's what that was. So I have no ill will toward the guy. I hope he stays healthy, and I hope they do have a good season. But I hope that we go 2-0 against them and beat the tar out of them.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
absolutely.
so
So obviously it's supposed to be an Eagle-centric episode, and we've talked way too much about Carson Wentz and the Washington Commies. So let's move on to the team of the hour, the Tower of Power, the Philadelphia Eagles. Dude, they made some exciting additions in this offseason. The draft I thought was outstanding. Even additions up to cut day they've made with bringing in CJG.
Yeah. Oh, before I say this, I do have to say that, and I don't mean to anger you before we talk about this, but Jason Peters, yeah.
Here's the deal. When I first heard about it, I was like, "Get the fuck out of here! Are you serious?" And I was pissed. But look at it this way. All right. By last year, he played for the Bears. He wasn't great. Every player that we've had some legends, Philadelphia legends, go and finish their career with the Cowboys. Tommy McDonald, Hall of Fame wide receiver. Harold Carmichael, Hall of Fame wide receiver. Randall fucking Cunningham. Some of these guys have gone there to end their careers. And let's be real, it never really works out when we bring Cowboys in or when they bring Eagles in.
Yep.
So,
especially 40-year-old linemen.
Right. Look, I love Jason
but
Peters,
I mean,
man.
yeah, I do too. But yeah, he's
if they're hinging their season on him,
yeah, he's at the twilight of his twilight. I hate to say that, but I had to bring it up. But no. So we're here to talk Eagles. They did do some great things in the offseason. Obviously, the biggest splash they made to me was getting AJ Brown. Of course, you could probably argue a bunch of other moves and all that. Look, we're not going to talk about preseason.
No,
there's no need to. Preseason football is a joke. The people that actually play during the regular season don't actually play during the preseason, and if they do, it's for a drive, a handful of snaps. It's a joke.
Your coordinators throwing out the most vanilla based defense and offense they can throw out there. You're not seeing their real game plans. It's just
right.
It's a good run through to see what players look like in game situations, but it's not the be all end all.
Right. It's an absolute joke. Now, week 1, we open up on Sunday against the Lions. Look, making no bones about it, I do hope that the Lions as a team, just want to see competitive football. But, the Lions are for the most part, the Browns of the NFC.
Here's the deal. The Lions or the Eagles have one of the 3 easiest schedules in football.
Yep.
The Lions, Washington, and New York, the New York Football Giants, have the 3 easiest schedules in football. I don't want to say any game is a give me. No game in the NFL is a gimme. We've seen that how many years ago when there was the snowstorm and it pushed the Eagles and Vikings game back to a Tuesday, and they had to play against, I think it was their 3rd or 4th string quarterback, Joe Webb. And Joe Webb came into Philly and whooped them. So I'm not going to say any game is a gimme. But the Lions are the team that the Eagles turned it around against last year. The Eagles absolutely bullied the shit out of the Lions last year.
Yeah.
Could the Lions be looking for some revenge this year? Absolutely. Are they improved? Every team is improved for the most part. Every team is improved in the offseason. I'm not going to sit here and say that the Eagles are going to run into Detroit and just decimate the Lions. I'm not going to sit here and say that. Do I expect them to win? Yeah, absolutely. But I wouldn't be surprised if, especially being the first regular season game, there's not some kinks that need to be worked out. So
right, yeah, no, I completely agree. Look, any game it's just kind of a toss up. You never really know. But unfortunately for the Lions, the last 2 decades have not been kind. Right. So I really think this is Yeah, I don't know. This will be in the win column. I know we're not going to go game to game and try to do what we did last year, where we said, oh yeah, they're going to be 10-7, they're going to be 11-6, they're going to be all this. But look, we're opening the season. I think this is a good way to open it. They have an easy schedule this year. This will be fun. Move on to games against the Vikings and the aforementioned Commanders. What do you have any takes on the Vikings or Commanders for the September games here?
Here's the thing. I am going to say this. I can see the Eagles easily winning 11 or 12 games this year. I think it'll probably be somewhere in that realm. I'm going to say 11 or 12. So I'm saying 11-6, 12-5. I don't know where those losses are going to be because I look at every single game on this schedule as a winnable game, with the exception of maybe the Green Bay game, although that's in Philly. So I'm not even saying that that's not a winnable game. The Vikings do strike me as one of the games where they could potentially drop it. Not
And
because I think the Vikings are a better team, but I just feel like that might be a game where
I think defensively the Vikings are still there. I do. I've always thought that they've been able to throw out a good defense out there. I don't know. It's one of those teams that just I don't know, tends to step up anytime I see them play, which happens to be against the Eagles. Um, their offense doesn't do anything for me. I've never had anything
right.
for Kirk Cousins.
No.
I realize that he's easily one of those quarterbacks that can be like, oh, I can throw for 400 yards. Look, Kirk Cousins can go for 400 yards and throw for like 2 touchdowns. Like that's just how he is. There's no, you know,
There's no rhyme or reason for it. He'll just one day he'll pop off and throw for that. And then the next game he'll regress to the mean and he'll throw like
exactly. And here's the
250
thing with him. Like you could throw that with him. They can do that all day long. But like they'll to me, I would be more scared of them defense wise and actually trying to score against them because yeah, they could throw their end zone game to me has always been a little particularly recently. So I don't know. That one really doesn't scare me. Going into the end of September, though, we talked about the
Oh, wait,
Commanders.
hold on. You missed something though. That's the Jalen Rigger or the Jalen Rager revenge game.
Ugh, I
He's going
forgot
to come
about
in and
him.
light us up. Remember?
Ugh,
Yeah, that's what everybody keeps saying online, and it makes me laugh. But I'm
yeah.
sorry. Continue.
No, you're fine. Speaking of revenge, I guess in some sixth sense, we get the Commanders to close out September. Now, I don't know what goes on here. We do play in Washington. If there's a home field advantage there, I don't see it. Um, look, I do wish good things for Carson.
Not that game. Not
I
that
just
game at
don't
all.
see it's going to happen. Look, we weren't going to talk the game here, but I could see the Eagles easily being 3-0 as September closes. But I can also see them being 2-1. If they're going to drop any game, it's going to be against Minnesota. The wins to me would be easy Lions, easy Commanders. That's just my take. I don't know.
Where I think it gets difficult, obviously we welcome Doug home October 2nd, when the Jaguars come to Philly, and I really hope that everybody gives them a standing O. I think they will. Um, I think that the Philly faithful will show their true colors and give Doug Peterson a welcome
I
that
was
he
going to say, and throw
deserves.
batteries at him.
Um, so I don't see us losing the Jaguars game. I think where it gets tough, and this is where we could really see um, some iffy play, is going to be the next 2 games before the bye, where we've got back to back. The day after my birthday, we play the Cardinals in Phoenix or in Arizona, and it never bodes well when an East Coast team goes across the country. Um, and so that game I feel like is maybe, I'm not scared of the team. I'm more frightened of the getting their clocks messed up by flying to the east or to the west coast.
Right.
Then we come back home for week 6, and it's the Cowboys at night, prime time. And that game, that's one that worries me. Um, Not because I don't think we'll beat them, but I feel like it could be one of those games where the I don't want to say the tension, but I feel like it's going to be a high pressure game. So I think that's going to be the first game of the season where we really see what this team has. Um, and then they go into the bye. So
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that's to me, I think you're going to get some challenges up to that point here and there. But every single one of those games up to that game, the Cowboys game, but in Philly, is winnable. The Cowboys are going to give us fits. I get it. They always do. Um, you know, uh, bye week, moving to the Steelers. Again at home.
before we go any further, I do want to say I think we beat the Cowboys.
No, that's fair. I do too. But I do think that'll be a that'll be a
That's going to
tough
be our
one.
litmus test.
You're exactly. Um, Move into the Roethlisbergerless. Is that a word?
Yeah, sure.
We just made it a word. Steelers. Boy, what do you got on the Steelers this year? Because this is a fun one. It's weird. We did fantasy football for so many years, and this is one of those things where obviously neither you or I were Steelers fans, but we always paid attention, mainly because the other team. But the state of the Steelers is a little bit different now.
Yeah,
Big Ben's
so
no longer running the show, so
it's going to either be who is it, Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky, and I think Trubisky won the starting job out of
yeah, I
camp.
think Trubisky is the starter now.
So who knows if he'll still be the starter by the time this game rolls around. But this is a team with, it's got pieces here and there, but they're work in progress. And I think that this is a game that coming out of the bye, hopefully the Eagles don't come out flat. That would be my concern in this one, is that they come out a little bit flat footed and they get caught sleeping a little bit, and the Steelers are able to punch them in the mouth on the first drive, and then hopefully they recover. But it's a game in Philly, and we know how the Steelers fare in Philly. So
right. And here's the thing too. I will say this. Look, Mike Tomlin runs a tight ship. He's a damn good head coach. I've always respected him. Turns a lot of kind of nobodies into something. You do have a good back in Harris. I just don't know what you have in Trubisky, and quite frankly, I kind of agree with your sentiment of who knows who's going to be the starter by the time they get to Philly, because it may not be Trubisky or Pickett.
yeah.
Maybe Big Ben comes out of retirement. I don't know.
Jay Cutler.
That's possible, but it's going to be different Steelers look. That to me, this is I hate to say this, and this mainly because Big Ben's not there anymore. This is one of the Lions type games for me. That's an easy W, or should be.
Should be.
Moving beyond that, we hit the road for the Texans, which is interesting. What do you have on the Texans?
So a Thursday night game against a, quite frankly, decimated franchise in the Houston Texans. Damian Pierce is their bright spot. He's their rookie running back, or new addition at running back. You've got Davis Mills as the starting quarterback. They don't have a lot of juice to me. I can see the only reason I could see this one being any kind of issue is because it's on a Thursday and you're coming off of playing Steelers, but you also just had a long break with the bye. So I don't know. It kind of equals out, but I'm not concerned about the Houston Texans.
I'm not either. I do like Pierce. I think that's a good one. I know you and I did a couple fantasy football drafts here with their own podcast here, and then another league that we're in, and he was one I was kind of eyeballing at times. Interesting to see what they do. Is it hopefully maybe they win a game or two? Won't be against the Eagles though. No, just not happening. If I'm going forward, kind of looking ahead. Oh gosh, what the heck?
This is where we hit a little bit of a tough stretch. So
Yeah,
we
go
we
ahead because
follow up.
my browser decided to close my tab here.
Oh, nice, yeah. So we finish up with we got Houston, and then we're playing Washington again. This one's at home. It's a primetime game again, and then we go into a 3-game stretch that is this could be um, the toughest get of the entire year. So we've got at the Colts, Packers coming to Philly, and then the Titans coming to Philly. The Packers game is a primetime game. The Colts game, look, the Colts are going to be good. The Colts have Matt Ryan under center. They've got, their offense has some troubles, but they've got Jonathan Taylor, and he erases a lot of issues. It's going to be a difficult game. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor with Carson Wentz was interesting. Jonathan Taylor with Matty Ice is completely different. I don't know. You got a really seasoned quarterback now that can. I don't know. It's that's going to be fun to watch. As much as I hate to say that.
Yeah, that one's going to be a little bit difficult, but I don't want to say they scare me because I feel like it's a winnable game, but they've got to play very disciplined football, very buttoned up, can't make mistakes. You can't have turnovers, you can't have sloppy play in any aspect of the game. You've got to play one of your best games of the season because I don't think the Colts are winning any I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to the AFC Championship. I don't know if they'll make it to the second round of the playoffs. But what I do know is that they're a solid team and they will feast on mistakes. They're built to grind it, much like the Eagles in the second half of the season last year. They're a team that's built to grind you down on when they have the ball. They will grind you down into dust and just run over your bones.
Yeah, Frank Reich's a great head coach. I don't have anything negative to say about that team. I think Matt Ryan is a upgrade over Wentz as far as the regular season goes. You know, having Jonathan Taylor as your primary back, assuming he stays healthy. If he's healthy in that game against the Eagles, we're in for one there.
Yeah. Which leads us into the Packers at the Eagles prime time, and the Karen Rodgers led team. You've got look, as much as I don't like him, damn good quarterback.
Yeah.
My question,
look at his numbers last year. It's
right?
it's almost otherworldly. It's sick
And
considering he's been in the league for so long now.
right, and the problem is, and he had weapons last year. He doesn't necessarily have the same caliber of weapon he had last year this year.
Yeah, because
So
what Devontae was it Devontae
Devontae Adams,
Adams is gone. I almost said Devontae Smith.
no, he's
Adams is
staying for a
gone.
while.
Marquez is out, right? He hasn't.
Marquez Valdez Scantlin, I think, went to the Chiefs.
Chiefs, yeah, he's gone.
Yeah,
Because he was a
so
Packer still up to last year, right?
yep.
Yeah.
So
So
you've got
yeah,
some weapons that you've got to replace, and it's going to be difficult. But it's Aaron Rodgers, so I'm not. If I'm a Packers fan, I'm not necessarily as concerned because it's Aaron Rodgers, and he's going to make your players and your team better. He's going to give you a shot to win every single weekend. So, barring any kind of massive injuries or anything like that, they should be good. Then we get
Tennessee. So
yeah,
I like this one only for the sheer fact of I get a lot of Tennessee action down here, so I do get to see a lot of that. That's why we open up December. Titans rolling the Philly. I would hope that this is an easy one, but
I don't know, man. Anytime you're playing Derrick
Derrick
Henry,
Henry, yeah, is a
I
problem.
think it's going to be an issue. And yeah, they traded away AJ Brown to us, which hopefully gives him some extra motivation to go out and scorch these guys. But they've still got a good defense. They've still got Ryan Tannehill under center, and they've still got some decent weapons around him. They brought in Treylon Burks in the draft with the pick that the Eagles traded them, which likely would have been the Eagles' pick had they not traded for AJ Brown. But the good news on that one is that apparently Mr. Burks came into camp out of shape, so maybe he's not the player that we thought he was. I would think by week 13 of the season he's in shape, pounded into shape by the rigors of the season, but who knows? They do have some other weapons there. They're going to be a tough out, but ultimately, I feel like that is a team that if the Eagles are for real, they're going to need to beat.
Right. Yeah, really up to that point, it's like if you don't have, look, 2-3 losses tops up to this point in the season, then it should be a walkover. But if there's any more than that, then that might be a problem.
Right.
Because really, like you said, the strength of the schedule is just not very much. So, all right, then we move into our world famous.
Speaking of weak teams,
Mm.
so then we roll up the turnpike to the Meadowlands and play against the New York Football Giants in what at this point in the season I'm assuming they're just kind of battered to mush because they have
Hey.
There we go.
All right. So
Yeah.
much like your internet connection, we hope that the first game against the Giants is just a
Right. So now you're gonna have to walk us through the rest of the schedule because I lost my entire internet connection here apparently.
all good.
Thanks,
We're
Comcast, you pieces
we're
of
close to
shit.
the end of the season here. So we run into the Bears.
Do you like Bears?
I don't know that I need to really exactly. Do you like Bears.com? I don't really need to say anymore. The Bears no longer have Mitch Trubisky. We know that he's no longer on the team.
Yes. Now let's just hope that their tight end Cole Kmet plays well, not against us, but throughout the season because I kind of got screwed with him in the draft. But anyway, that's another story for another time. But so the Bears I don't think are an issue. Justin Fields is their quarterback. He's shown some flashes here and there. He hasn't really impressed me by and large with what I've seen. So
no, he's no Jalen. I'll say that. I do like the guy, but no, I don't see the Bears being more than a 6-win team this year, and certainly not against the Eagles. The Eagles Cowboys on Christmas Eve in Dallas. Look,
I'm going to
we
hope
talked.
that it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Now we're at week I think 16 at that point. I hope that it doesn't matter either. But that's where that's at. And then they come home for the final two games. New Year's Day against New Orleans. Could it be interesting? New Orleans always a bunch of weapons.
Always dangerous. That defense is what's really going to seal their fate one way or the other. Offensively, I'm not overly concerned, but Jameis Winston, he has the capability to light a team up. So
and he still has some weapons there.
right.
Kamara is still there. With Michael Thomas.
Assuming Kamara is still in the league at that point, since he's still awaiting charges on domestic abuse. So
That's true. That's a good point. The often injured Michael Thomas, if he's healthy, he's a deadly weapon as a wideout. There was someone else though that I was thinking of with them. Yeah, I don't know.
Taysom Hill.
No, I think they're kind of I hate to say this, I think they're kind of a wild card type team. I don't mean that in a playoff sense. I think that they could be a problem, particularly at that point in the season. Giants, Eagles to close out the year. Look, they go into the Meadowlands, probably pounding them. End of the season, though, it really depends upon where we're at. I mean,
right. Hopefully, ideally, this is a game where we're starting backups, and we'll see how it goes. But really, the Eagles and Cowboys on Christmas Eve is going to be the most telling game of the season as far as for the rest of the season at this point. If the Eagles still have something to play for against Dallas, then it very well could be playoff seeding at that point. Who knows? Could be for the NFC East. That could essentially be an NFC East title game. Who knows? It's really going to come down to that game, I think, at the end of the season and what it means to the Eagles and to their playoff hopes if they are there still. I think that game is that sets up the rest of this, the last two games of the season. That's pretty much where it's at. So
yeah, I think last year when we did our 21 season preview, we kind of decided on, hey, this was going to be a 10 or 11 win season. We kind of knew where things stood. We didn't really know what we were getting with Jalen Hurts. I think we both kind of spoke our piece with him at the time. I didn't know either. You didn't know. We had no idea what we were really getting with him being in the first full season as quarterback. We kind of know now, and I think the expectations are a little higher. My expectations aren't going to be ultimately higher. 10 or 11 to me moves 12 or 13, which I know is a lot in the NFL. I certainly think a 13-win season is not out of the realm of possibility here. With a strong top 2 playoff position in the NFC. I don't know where it goes from there, but that's kind of my feelings. How about you? What do you think?
I'm going 11 or 12. Like I said, honestly, I look at this schedule and as things stand, and it could be rose-colored glasses from the moves they've made this offseason. It could be a combination of that and how they finished out last season. But I'm looking at it, and honestly, there's not a game on here where I go into it and say, oh, man, the Eagles have no shot of winning. It's the Eagles, if they play to their capability, have the potential to win every single game on this schedule. I don't think they're going to go, because I'm realistic. I don't think they're going to go undefeated. Nobody, they're not there yet, and who knows if they'll. No team is ever going to get to undefeated again. I don't think. We saw what happened the last time a team went undefeated through the regular season. They lost Super Bowl because the Patriots suck.
To the Giants.
And that was the downside to that. It's kind of like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Because on one hand, you don't want the Giants to win a Super Bowl, but on the other hand, you don't want the Patriots to go undefeated because both fan bases would never let you hear the end of either one.
Yep.
But I think it should be a good season. I'm excited. I'm ready. Goddamn, I'm beyond ready. Let's get this season underway here. And let's see how things go.
Yeah, amen. I think we did a good number on this. We're Eagles preview stuff. We weren't going to deep dive into it like we were last season, but we just wanted to kind of run through the schedule, kind of see where we're at. Have some fun with it. But no, we just go Birds.
Go Birds.
All right. Noise Brigade. Yeah, amen. NoiseBrigadePod.com.
Fuck Dallas.